Listen up. You ever feel like the world's rigged against you? Like the harder you try to be a good guy, the more you get walked all over? You fear losing her, fear being played for a fool, fear that gnawing sense of being an afterthought. Good, because that fear is the truth knocking. The world, my friend, doesn't reward goodness. It rewards Potter. It rewards those who understand the raw, uncomfortable truths about human nature. And Machiavelli, he wasn't a villain. He was just honest enough to spell it out. Today, we're not talking platitudes. We're dissecting the very fabric of the cold, hard reality of the Wago mental, and how to build unshakable respeto. This isn't about being nice. It's about being effective. It's about mastering a strategia masculina, so you stop being a piece on the board and start being the player. If you're tired of being weak, tired of being controlled, then you damn well better pay attention. Because what you're about to learn is the difference between an hombre de alto valor and just another chump begging for scraps. See, most folks want to believe in fairy tales. They want to believe that if you're just good enough, pure enough, the world will reward you. Machiavelli didn't peddle that soft crap. He sat back, watched the emperors, generals, the common man, and wrote down what he saw. Not what he wished for, but the unvarnished, ugly truth. He understood human nature, at its core, is driven by self-interest, by the pursuit of Potter. He wasn't advocating evil. He was simply peeling back the pretty veneer to expose the raw meat underneath. He saw that leading with virtue alone in a den of wolves just gets you eaten. Your noble intentions. Footnotes in someone else's conquest. Think about it. How many good guys always get shafted? How many honest men are broke while the ruthless climb to the top? That's not a bug, it's a feature. Machiavelli laid it bare. If you don't understand the mechanisms of Potter, if you don't wield it, you become a victim. Being nice without teeth makes you a target, not a hero. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of the Wago mental that unfolds daily. People confuse being liked with being respected. Big mistake, crippling mistake. He showed you the playbook, the unwritten rules of manipulation that play out whether you acknowledge them or not. Every negotiation, every conversation, every relationship is a subtle dance of influence, a constant test of wills. And if you're standing there, arms crossed, waiting for people to just do the right thing, you're already behind. You're giving away your hand, your leverage, your very chance at respeto. Machiavelli understood the world isn't a playground for idealists. It's an arena where only those who master a strategia masculina truly thrive. It's about understanding the chessboard, not just your pawn. This isn't about becoming a bad guy. It's about becoming capable. It's about recognizing human behavior's truth so you can navigate it, shape it, protect what's yours. It's about building the kind of Potter that makes people think twice before crossing you. Not because you're a bully, but because you're a force. This insight separates the boys from the men, the weak from the hombre de alto valor. It's about having the control emotional to see things clearly, not through a fog of sentimentality, and act accordingly. Your emotions are tools, not masters. When you grasp Machiavelli's raw honesty, you stop reacting like a sheep and start planning like a wolf. You learn that sometimes the most virtuous act is the one that secures your position, protects your flock, ensures your survival and dominance, because without that foundation, without Potter, your goodness is just weakness waiting to be exploited. It's time to stop wishing and start winning. Now, let's peel back another layer of this onion, shall we? Because while everyone's busy virtue signaling about goodness, the truth is, a good man without a sharpened edge is just a lamb waiting for the wolves. And make no mistake, the world is full of wolves. This isn't some cynical take. It's Machiavelli staring you down, telling you exactly how it is. He warned that the world, the real world, uses the good. It doesn't celebrate them, it exploits them. It's a harsh pill to swallow, especially for those raised on fairy tales. But it's fundamental to understanding Potter. Think about it. Where does vulnerability truly lie for the good man? It's often in the desperate need for acceptance, the crippling fear of confrontation, the pathetic charade of being perpetually nice so everyone likes him. This isn't kindness. It's a lack of boundaries. A porous defense that invites manipulation when you can't say no. When you constantly prioritize others' comfort over your own integrity or strategic advantage, you become a puppet. You're not being good, you're being convenient. And convenience doesn't earn respeto, it earns exploitation. An hombre de alto valor understands that true goodness isn't passive, it's an active choice, backed by a fortified will and a strategic mind. This is where the Wago mental comes in. The manipulators, the users, they sniff out this goodness like sharks smell blood in the water. They know your triggers, your desire to be seen as noble, your aversion to conflict, your fear of upsetting the apple cart. They'll play on your empathy, guilt trip you, make you feel selfish for asserting your own needs. And if you lack control, emotional if your decisions are dictated by a fuzzy feeling of obligation or the fear of disapproval, you're already caught in their web. Your good heart becomes a weapon they wield against you, a soft spot they press until you crumble. This isn't to say you should be a villain. Absolutely not. But you need to embody strategia. You need to protect your virtues with discernment, with boundaries, with a keen understanding of human nature. Goodness, without the armor of strategic thinking, is merely naivete. It's a weakness that will be capitalized on by those who operate without scruples. Your kindness should be a choice, not a reflex. It should be a tool you deploy, not a vulnerability others can exploit. Imagine a warrior. His strength isn't just in his sword arm, but in his shield, his armor, his awareness of the battlefield. His goodness, his loyalty, his honor is protected by his capacity for lethal force and shrewd tactics. He doesn't go into battle with an open heart and no defenses, does he? So, if you're walking around thinking your inherent goodness is enough to navigate a shark-infested world, you're living in a fantasy. It's time to wake up. It's time to recognize that sometimes the most good thing you can do for yourself and for those you truly care about is to become formidable, to learn to say no, to set unyielding boundaries, to recognize manipulation for what it is and shut it down cold. This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming a master of your own domain, a man whose kindness is respected, not taken for granted. It's about cultivating a potter that emanates from self-mastery, not from a desperate need for external validation. Stop being an easy mark, start being a force. The world doesn't hand out gold stars for being a nice guy or for simply having potential. It rewards those who seize the damn moment. Think about it. How many talented people do you know who are stuck in neutral, waiting for someone to tap them on the shoulder and crown them king? Plenty of these are the ones who believe potter is a gift, something bestowed upon them for their inherent goodness or hard work. They're waiting for validation, for an invitation to the top table. Newsflash, champ, that invitation ain't coming. Or if it does, it's usually for a seat at the kids' table, while the real players are closing deals in the back room. Power isn't granted, it's taken, it's embodied. You don't get chosen by some cosmic casting director. You step onto the stage and own it. This is where Machiavelli understood human nature better than most self-help gurus combined. He didn't preach about waiting for virtue to be recognized. He spoke about acquiring and maintaining power through decisive action, through understanding the chessboard and making your moves. He knew it was a Wago mental, not a popularity contest. It's about becoming the king, not waiting for someone to hand you a scepter. If you're not actively carving out your space, someone else is already laying claim to it. They're not asking permission, are they? The authentic source of power isn't external accolades, it's an internal alignment. It's the clarity that comes from profound control, emotional, the kind that lets you see the game for what it is, devoid of sentimentality or wishful thinking. When you have that clarity, you naturally position yourself not as someone seeking permission, but as someone who commands it. Your very presence becomes a statement. This isn't manipulation in the insidious sense, but a deliberate, powerful shaping of perception through sheer presence and undeniable competence. It's the difference between hoping to be seen and ensuring you are impossible to ignore. Consider the man who waits for his boss to notice his brilliance. He's doing good work, sure, but he's also invisible because he hasn't learned to assert his value. He's a cog, a replaceable part. Then look at the guy who, perhaps with less raw talent but far more grit, steps up, volunteers for high-stakes projects, articulates his vision with unwavering conviction, and makes himself indispensable. Who gets the promotion? Who earns the respect? Oh, it's not the one who waits patiently for a pat on the head. It's the one who acts with conviction, radiating competence and quiet authority. That's the very essence of a hombre de alto valor in action. He doesn't ask, he takes. He doesn't plead, he demonstrates. This isn't about arrogance, it's about competence married to an undeniable will. It's about understanding that the world often only sees what you explicitly show it. If you're shrinking into the background, expecting to be discovered like some rare archaeological find, you're going to be buried by the sand of mediocrity. Your strategia masculina must dictate that you are a presence, not an echo. You don't ask for a seat at the table. You build your own damn table, and if anyone wants to eat, they come to you. The path to true potter is paved with decisions, not desires. It's paved with the courage to claim your space, to articulate your worth, to act decisively even when others are paralyzed by indecision or fear of judgment. This is the difference between a predator and prey, between the one who hunts and the one who waits to be hunted. Stop hoping for a crown, start forging your own. Speaking of forging your own crown, understand this: the loudest mouth in the room is often the weakest. He's the one desperate for attention, for validation, for any crumbs of acknowledgement. True potter, real undeniable influence, rarely announces itself with a bullhorn. It moves in shadows, observes from the periphery, and strikes with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Learn to shut your mouth. That's not a suggestion, it's a command. Your tongue, unchecked, is your greatest vulnerability, a gaping wound through which your intentions, your weaknesses, and your strategic advantage drain away like cheap wine. Think about it. Every word you utter, especially when you're defending yourself, explaining your actions, or worse, seeking approval, chips away at your mystique. It telegraphs your moves. It gives away your hand in the grand Wago mental that is life. When you justify, you imply you need to be judged. When you explain, you invite challenge. A hombre de alto valor doesn't explain himself to peasants, or to those who lack the vision to see his worth. He simply is. His actions speak, and often, his silence speaks louder than any speech. This isn't just about biting your tongue. It's about mastering control, emotional to the point where your internal landscape is unreadable to others. They can only see what you allow them to see, and if you're smart, that's damn near nothing. The art of keeping quiet is simultaneously the art of observation. While the average man is busy flapping his gums, trying to impress, or worse, trying to fit in, the man of strategy is watching. He's collecting data. He's analyzing weaknesses, identifying leverage points, understanding the true dynamics of the room, the negotiation, the relationship. He's learning who talks too much, who reacts emotionally, who can be nudged, who can be broken. This silent accumulation of intelligence is the bedrock of effective manipulation. Not in the cartoonish villain sense, but in the subtle shaping of outcomes. You're not pulling strings. You're understanding the puppet's mechanics so intimately that you can predict its movements and subtly adjust the stage around it. This is pure Machiavelli in action, the quiet study of human nature to gain an advantage. The prince didn't win by shouting. He won by knowing. Moreover, silence cultivates respeto. People are inherently wary of what they don't fully understand. A man who rarely speaks, whose thoughts are hidden behind an impassive facade, projects an aura of depth and undeniable strength. He becomes an enigma. And what is an enigma but a challenge, an object of fascination, and ultimately, an object of a certain fear? When he does speak, his words carry weight, precisely because they are rare. They are chosen, deliberate, and often impactful. This isn't about being aloof. It's about strategic withdrawal of information. It's about understanding that every piece of information you give away without a clear purpose diminishes your negotiating power, your personal leverage, and ultimately, your power. Your res strategia masculina must incorporate this principle. You are a fortress, not an open house. You control the narrative by controlling the information flow. You don't scream your dominance, you embody it with quiet, unsettling confidence. Never forget, a closed mouth gathers no feet, it gathers power. Most folks wander through life like blind mice in a maze, reacting to every cheese crumb, every sudden noise. They're not charting a course, they're just bumping into walls. They are the pieces, moved by the whims of others, by societal expectations, by the subtle prods of the media, by their own unexamined emotions. They think they're making choices, but they're just executing scripts written by unseen hands. This is where the profound wisdom of Machiavelli truly hits home. He wasn't just talking about princes and kingdoms, he was talking about the eternal struggle for power in any human interaction, any system. He understood that the world is indeed a colossal chessboard, and most are content to be mere pawns, shuffled around, sacrificed when convenient. The true player, the asterisk hombre, Gialto Valor, doesn't just know the rules of chess. He understands the metagame. He sees the invisible threads, the unspoken agreements, the emotional vulnerabilities that others exploit. He knows that the real power doesn't lie in brute force, but in the subtle art of the juego mental. He learns to read the room, to interpret body language, to sniff out ulterior motives like a bloodhound on a scent. He understands the principles of manipulation, not because he intends to be a villain, but because he must defend himself against it, and occasionally, strategically, employ it for the greater good of his own game. This isn't about being evil, it's about being effective. It's about survival in a world that doesn't hand out trophies for good intentions. To become the player, you must first master control. Emotional upon is easily moved because its reactions are predictable. Its anger, its fear, its desire. These are the levers others pull. A man who can't master his own internal state is a puppet whose strings are always visible. The player, conversely, remains unperturbed. He doesn't react. He acts, he plans, he anticipates. This kind of disciplined self-mastery is the foundation of any robust strategia masculina. It allows him to see the whole board, not just the square he's currently on. It gives him the calm foresight to make moves that baffle his opponents, moves that seem counterintuitive to the emotional man, but are surgically precise to the strategic mind. When you play this way, when you operate from a place of calculated calm rather than emotional impulsivity, you naturally command respeto. People unconsciously defer to those who exude such quiet strength. They sense the difference between a man who is being moved and a man who is moving things. This isn't just about winning, it's about shaping your environment. It's about building influence organically, not by demanding it, but by demonstrating competence and an unshakable grip on reality. You're not just a piece in the game anymore. You are the hand that moves, the mind that calculates, the will that dictates. You become the architect of your own destiny, not just another brick in someone else's wall. Alright, so what's it gonna be? Are you going to keep getting played, or are you finally going to master the juego mental? This isn't theoretical philosophy. This is Machiavelli in action. Real poder, the kind that earns respeto, always flows from absolute control emocional. Without it, you're just a victim of circumstance, easily swayed by every cheap tactic of manipulation. To be un hombre de alto valor, to truly enact a winning estrategia masculina, you have to be the one pulling the strings, not the one dancing. Now, reflect on this. How often has your own unbridled emotions stripped you of your power? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. No sugarcoating. If you're serious about transforming your game and consistently learning these exclusive strategies, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It's your move. Ready for the next level. Click the suggested video right now to unlock more brutal truths about the art of influence. Stay sharp.